Welcome back, everyone, to CC's Adventures. We're now in week 8. We'll be playing the Goes games, coached by Daizook. Okay, a fellow Darren. So this week we're gonna have a naming scheme where we're gonna name all our Pokemon after Darren's, and because Daizook is known for his dark arts, whichever Pokemon runs Toxic will be named after Daizook. Anyways, going off to his team, he's got Palafin as his S tier. Palafin, kind of a nuts Pokemon, goes insane really easily. Very easy to just throw a Choice Band, Jet Punch, does a ton of damage to pretty much everything. Uh, all he needs to do is get an opportunity to bring it in and then switch it out. So our goal will be to keep up high pressure so that he doesn't get that freely, and if he does do it, he needs to be punished for it. So let's hope we can do that. Tornadus, Regenerator, kind of annoying Pokemon. If I can take it out, that'll be fantastic. Don't want it healing up constantly. Garchomp, he's a scrub. Expect it to just die because it's a scrub chomp, so what do you expect? But in all seriousness, it's actually something I should watch out for. Probably need like a nice attack for it. It's probably a rock setter or something. I don't know. Tinkaton. Tinkaton is kind of bulky, can hit things really hard. Uh, Fortunately, I have some switch-ins to Gigaton Hammer. Nice water types. Except that, Play Rough is going to hit this. Cobalion is probably my best switch into it. Yeah. We'll have to watch out for that. Screamtail. Screamtail is kind of, I don't know. I'm not sold on it. Everyone says it's great. It is very hard to KO. Doesn't do a lot of damage unless it starts setting up Calm Minds or Cosmic Powers or something like that. I expect it to just be a Wish pass set. Use Wish, switch it to something else, keep things alive. Rhydon, it learns Horn Drill, so I'm sure that's something that's on Daizook's mind because that's all he's about is hitting moves that no one should be hitting. Talonflame, Regidrago, he's been very big on Regidrago this season. Probably going to be bringing it. Going to be clicking Dragon's Energy. Dragon's Energy with a Choice Specs does a ton of damage. I really don't have any switch-ins. I'd probably bring Granbull just so that he has to second guess clicking dragon moves. But if it learns like Sludge Wave or Flash Cannon, that could be a problem. There's Muck, there's a Greninja, and then Tauros is his big man where he can run Choice Scarf Fisher, Horn Drill, all that type of stuff. So we'll keep that in mind. There's really no counterplay to Fisher or Horn Drill, so I could bring Drifblim, but I don't want to because I brought it in the last couple of games, so he needs rest. Okay, again, looking at the speed tiers, like every single match, there's always one Pokemon that somehow outspeeds everything that I've got. So there's Talonflame. We'll have to keep that in mind. It has Gale Wings, so running Scarf doesn't quite help, but I don't think it can really hit stuff like Iron Boulder. So if I bring that, it can hit at me, but won't KO me, and I can always click Mighty Cleave. Okay, is Choice Trick Room worth bringing? No, his Pokemon are slow. Okay, looking at his type chart, again, it says he's weak to electric moves. Take that with a grain of salt because there's a Garchomp and a Rhydon here. It says he's not great with ice moves. Say that's a fair guess. I would love to just bring a Quiver Dance Frostmoth, but because his Pokemon are so fast, even if I get to +1, not KOing, not outspeeding, and then even if I did manage to get to +1, it doesn't quite have the moves to hit like stuff like Tinkaton, Muck, Screamtail. Those things are living. I could hit Screamtail. Yeah. Actually, you know what? I might bring it. I might bring it anyways. Except that I I'll just accept that there are some things that I won't be able to KO or outspeed, and so I'll just dump whatever extra speed EVs into like an HP or something to live maybe a Jet Punch. Maybe I can surprise kill Palafin with my Terra Electric Frostmoth. That's my wild card. And then ground types. Says he's not great against ground types. He's got 2 immunities. Those 2 immunities could get hit with a Sludge Wave, I suppose. Yeah, stuff to keep in mind. I think Gramble's a must bring because of his Regidrago. Yeah. In terms of hazards, again, he's got lots of Rock Setters. Something I could keep in mind. I don't think I really care about Stealth Rocks, though, so if he sets them up, really, whatever. I'll bring a Rock Setter just in case. Maybe Cobalion can be my Rock Setter. I don't want these two to be running around Rampant, Tornadus, and Talonflame. Or if they are running around, then they'll probably have heavy-duty boots, which is fine. But just in case they don't run those boots, Stealth Rocks will be nice if I get a chance. But I'm not going to force it. I'm not one that likes to force hazards on. If I get a chance, great. But if I have a chance to KO something, I'm going to go for the KO. Because, yeah. So let's see the team that we kind of built up here. Okay, so we got Palkia Origin, Dybro Darrens, because I'm going to be running Toxic on it. Really, its goal, hit as many things as possible. I got Surf Spatial Rend because I don't want to miss. And I'm bringing Fire Blast over Flamethrower. And the reason for that is to hit Tinkaton as hard as I can. Flamethrower doesn't do that much to it, surprisingly. Here's the Tinkaton. Here's my Palkia. Fire Blast doesn't even KO. But I want to get maximum damage on it so that anything else that comes in can take it out with whatever move they've got. And then Spatial Rend and Surf are just to hit everything else. So if we look at it, Surf can hit this. Spatial Rend, Surf, Spatial Rend, Spatial. It's not going to KO most of these things, but it's going to do a lot of damage because it's a Palkia. So Fire Blast is really just here for the Tinkaton and Toxic in case I run into something that I can't quite hurt. So if we look at a Screamtail, for example, because they're so fat, especially defensive Screamtail, I'm not hurting. I originally had Swagger because I thought that was fun, but a few minutes before the match I changed it to Toxic because the reality is Swagger's not going to quite help me take this out. So if he brings this, getting a Toxic off is not the worst thing. So that's where that idea came from. The speed, again, tiered to a specific reason, so we're at 354. So if we look at the speeds here, 354 lets me outspeed a Screamtail. I can't outspeed Tornadus or Greninja or Talonflame naturally, so there's no point in wasting speed EVs up there. So I'm outspeeding Screamtail, and then the rest will just be thrown into HP because I don't need it for anything else really. Or I'm sorry, I put it into defense, probably to deal with possible Jet Punches. The more Jet Punches I can survive, the better, so that I'm not losing the game really early. I've got Frostmoth here, Terra Electric. Like promised, we've got our Quiver Dance. Ice Beam, Giga Drain, and Terra Blast. It's not the best set. I put no special attack investment. I put it so that if I get to like +2, I'm outspeeding some of his Pokemon. I'm outspeeding Garchomp at +2 if it's running a Scarf. And then if I go to +1, back to here, I'm outspeeding his Tornadus. I can't outspeed Greninja no matter what. I'm max speed, so there's nothing else to do. But at least I can outspeed Tornadus and hit it with an Ice Beam. Or Terra Blast Electric, whatever. This thing is just here to get as much damage as possible, but also, if he... Normally you think, okay, Palafin is bulky-ish. It can deal with Ice Beams, but if I Terra Electric, okay, if I don't, I can now survive a Jet Punch because of my max defense investment here, 252. I put all, instead of HP, because HP, I don't really care about the special attacks. I want to be able to take a Jet Punch if I do manage to get a Quiver Dance off. And if I go to +1, Terra Blast is KO. So there's that. And I've also got Giga Drain just in case I got like some chip on me, and then if he wants to switch it in, maybe I read it, click Giga Drain, puts me past his Jet Punch KO. And this is off of a choice banded Palafin, so if it's not choice banded, I'm living whatever moves he's doing at least once, except for Wave Crash, but I should outspeed at +1. So that's the set explained here. I got Gyarados. I had a hard time picking its moves for this match because, like, if you look at his moves right now, I don't have any stat moves. No Crunch, no Waterfall. I went with 3 non-stab moves: Power Whip, Earthquake, and Ice Fang. Because Waterfall or Crunch just never did enough damage. And then the things that it did do damage on, these 3 moves did enough damage as well. Sorry, wrong screen. Ice Fang, Power Whip, and Earthquake also did enough damage. So Ice Fang is to hit Garchomp, clearly. Power Whip is to hit Palafin. And Earthquake is to hit stuff like Tinkaton. So his bulky stuff, anything that wasn't bulky here is losing to those 3 moves anyways. So that's why I went with those 3 moves, and the Dragon Dance is necessary to get certain KOs. So hopefully if we run into like a Scream Tail, I can just run in on it, Scream Tail or Muck, really. I can click Dragon Dance, and then hopefully that's game over. Hopefully, we'll see. We've got our Ogerpon. I'm going to go with a choice band set this time because I want to maximize every move's hit on his Pokemon. He's got a really bulky-ish team. Tinkaton, Rhydon, Muck, Regidrago, Palafin, Garchomp, Screamtail. Like, these are all things that can just take hits. I need them to get punished. So I need them, if I'm going to hit them, I need to do as much damage as possible, even if it's from going from 20% damage to 30% damage. I need that. Rock Tomb is here for his flying type, specifically Tornadus or Talonflame. Knockoff is here for the neutral damage on things that Ivy Sigil and Rock Tomb don't hit. Stomping Tantrum for his Tinkaton and Muck. Again, these are all moves that are not KOing, but they do damage. And of course I have Ivy Sigil because it doesn't make sense not to bring that. I'm probably going to Terra Frostmoth, but I could also Terra this or any of my other, or even my other 2 Pokemon. So that's always an option. So that's these moves explained. We've got Cobalion coming this game. He's my rock setter. Again, if I can get the rocks up, I will throw him up. If I can't, not a problem. Like if I see there's something in front of me that I think I can take out, I'm going to take it out. This thing is kind of just an extra Pokemon to me for this match. Close Combat hits everything decently. Iron Head is for his Frostmoth. Not Frostmoth, sorry, Screamtail. And then Volt Switch, if I think he's going to switch, I can just click Volt Switch and hopefully get some momentum there. The speed is just to outspeed whatever it is that is just under that number, 334. So I'm trying to outspeed Garchomp because Close Combat does okay damage before I go down, and I'm okay with that. Everything else that was above it wasn't like I can't outspeed these other things anyways, so no point in dumping it in there. And then my last Pokemon is Gramble. Gramble is fully specially defensive, but I'm bringing Intimidate. So Intimidate lets me kind of come in on a physical attacker, and I've also got Rocky Helmet to do some damage. So if he brings in his Talonflame and wants to click Brave Bird, it can get hurt a little bit. If he wants to use Jet Punch on me, great. Take some chip off before you take me out. I'm good with that. Especially defensive because his main goal is really Regidrago. I don't want Regidrago to take me out, and Dragon's Energy does so much damage. So if I can limit the amount of time he can just click that freely, that's great. Obviously, Gramble has limited lifetime. No healing, none of that. The only issue with Gramble is that he has Pokemon that can just kind of switch in on it, not worry about it. So, for example, Palafin doesn't take a ton of damage because it's pretty bulky. So if I look at Gramble for a second, here's my set. Here's Palafin. Right, like Play Rough does most 40% with my set. And if he runs Bulk Up, we're in big trouble. Right, because one Bulk Up is really bad. However, I'm bringing Thunderbolt, which it doesn't do a ton of damage, by the way. But it does enough that it can't quite stay in for more than 2 turns. And that's assuming he's coming in at full health. So if he's clicking Bulk Up, you'd probably have Drain Punch here. So let's look at a Drain Punch. Oh, Drain Punch does more than I thought. But between Drain Punch, Rocky Helmet, Super Fang, and Thunderbolt, I'm hoping he's either forced to switch out or he just gets into a range for anything else to kind of take it out because it's not gaining much speed. So that's why I've got Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt's not great on it because its special attack is not good. But otherwise, I really can't touch it. So that's my best bet against that. So that's why I ran that. So let's take a look at how this went for us. So we've got a bye game on the line. So we'll hopefully be straight into the semifinals. If not, we'll be having to play Goes in the next round. So let's take a look. So he's brought Greninja. Didn't talk too much about it. It can cause problems, obviously. Hopefully it doesn't do anything. He's brought his Regidrago. Again, choice specs, Dragon Energy is nuts. So there's our Gramble for that. Hopefully that pays off. He's got his Garchomp, probably his Rock Setter, probably bulky. Just seems like a Daizook thing to do. I don't really know what Screamtail's goal is. Probably Wish Passing. Palafin does Palafin things. Maybe Defogger. I don't know. So let's take a look. I'll probably lead Cobalion here. Because there's a Tornadus. If I can get Stealth Rocks up and he doesn't have boots, I can limit that Regenerator heal. If he does have boots, then whatever. I can get chip off of everything else, which is fine. With just enough chip on everything, Frostmoth could sweep with the Quiver Dance. So here's to hoping. Okay, so I did lead the Cobalion. He has led Greninja. Close combat KOs this. Right? If he had put on Tornadus or Screamtail, even Palafin, I would have just clicked Stealth Rocks here. Greninja, though, it's one hit by close combat. The only thing here that he has that will love to switch in is this, or maybe Tornadus can take a close combat. I don't know. Tornadus. Is that Therian? No. Tornadus, Cobalion. So even Tornadus doesn't love a close combat. So there's no reason not to click it other than Screamtail. But if you throw in Screamtail, I can click an Iron Head after, which it won't take well. And then at that point, like, why switch it in to begin with. So we're going to click that taunt. So Daizook clearly had the same ideas I did when I first started. So I don't often turn one, throw in my rocks or spikes or whatever I'm using, but this time I did. However, I didn't, given that the matchup that was thrown at me, I felt like killing a Greninja was way better than, because Greninja can be really annoying, especially if it's running Protein or even the other one, Battle Bond. Like it can do so much damage to everything, and it's faster than everything I have. I didn't bring any scarves this game, so this thing could be a problem. I had to go for the close combat. He made the right play. Fortunately for me, didn't matter. Whatever, I don't get rocks up. They weren't that important. Probably just going to click it again. Volt switch, yeah, that makes sense. So he's lost his Greninja. Low kick was nice for him. Does a lot of damage, but even with the lost defense, still ate it. I've got it here in case I want to set up rocks later or play close combat again. But he's got 2 Pokemon that will speed me. It's probably not much of a problem. So we've got Iogrepawn. I brought it out because it's probably the Pokemon. It's probably the Pokemon that has the least amount of switch-ins, other than the Tornadus, which obviously he brought out. Do I really care if Ogerpon goes down here? I'll probably click knockoff or something. No, I switched it. So I know I had a fully special defensive Granbull. Not sure. See, but by doing this, I can no longer kind of take on Regidrago. But I also didn't really have great switch-ins to this. Well, this is what I went with. Super Fang kind of limits its time around here. Substitute, you probably thought I was switching or something. I don't know. That was a good turn for me. Tornadus is really low on HP. He can switch, and I'll get a knockoff off, or he can stay in. I'll take him out, whatever. I'm going to Terra Grass just so I can outspeed it. Yeah, that's a good turn for me. So his 2 fastest Pokemon are gone. So the fact that I didn't bring a Scarf doesn't matter as much now. Unless he brings a Scarf. I don't know what item this thing would run. Choice Specs was probably the scariest thing. But I also have 3 things that outspeed it. So don't know how viable that would be. Don't need this guy anymore. So I'm just going to test the waters. Okay, wasn't Dragon's Energy. So it's probably not Choice Scarf. Probably Choice Specs. Yeah. So if he's locked into Dragon's Energy, this guy could probably take decent damage. So Quiver Dancing on it is pretty good. At +1, unless this is Scarfed, I outspeed. So there's literally no reason for me to not click Ice Beam. He could switch in, but whatever. I get Chip off, and then I can use another move. And we all know that I can take a Jet Punch now. Yeah, there you go. Down he goes. Regidrago. He switched out earlier. Right? Yeah, he withdrew this earlier. So maybe it's not Choice Specs. It wasn't Choice Specs. It has to be Choice Scarf because it outsped me. Explosion's pretty heat. I wonder if that would have KO'd if I didn't have Explosion. Now, I don't know if he was fully offensive. So if I had no defense EVs, that would have KO'd. So my 252 defense EVs probably came in clutch there. So I can get Chip on. No, Jet Punch would probably. I think Jet Punch KOs. Yeah. But done more than its fair share of the job, right? It took out Garchomp and Regidrago. From here, this is not in its hero form yet, so it doesn't do a ton of damage. Don't think it gets any moves that hits Gyarados other than like superpower, so I'm not gonna Mega Evolve. I'm just gonna stay regular Gyarados. I've lowered his attack. This should be a free Dragon Dance. See, that's just a great bring. Bringing Taunt was fantastic. So now I can't set up anymore. So he's got a free switch out with the Palafin now, yeah. Oh. So he brought defense, boosted Screamtail. I don't have Crunch, so this isn't great. Yeah, I don't know what this thing does, but if he starts setting up cosmic powers, I'm probably not able to touch it. So I'm going to bring in my Palkia now. Hopefully I can just chip away at it. Let's see what he does. Calm Mind. Okay. Special attacker. Its defense is boosted, so I can't really hurt it anymore. Fortunately, we brought Toxic, so I'm going to have to throw out that Toxic on it, and hopefully we can get his health just low enough in a couple. So there's the Wish. Yep, the Wish was a thing. Dazzling Gleam. So that did more than I expected. But I should be able to, hopefully that was a high roll and I can live another one. But I can at least throw out some Surfs now. Just try to limit his HP. He's going to get Wished healed this turn. So he's at 98, 85. So I should be able to throw Surf at it. Just hurt it enough so that these two can do some damage to it. That's decent damage. It's unfortunate. I was hoping to get off two Surfs. Okay, but still, 38. I've got Terra Grass, Ivy Sigil, which should be able to KO from here. Yeah. Just in case, I'm going to switch. I don't know what item this thing has, but I want to lower its attack. Drain Punch, great. Outrage. He's already... Yeah, I got to just... So that was a really close game. That Screamtail, had I not brought Toxic, it kind of just won the game. So I'm not a big Toxic player, but yeah, that was pretty clutch. We can all thank Daizook for those Dark Art talents. So I'm now off into the semifinals then. Don't know if we'll do these videos for the playoffs, but if we do, I'll see you next time. If not, it's been a pleasure walking through these games with you guys.